We're going to get into today's topic, which is things to consider when doing product research. There are so many things to consider, but we're just going to give you a few things to think about when you're doing product research. Whether you're using a tool to do the product research, whether you're manually doing the research yourself, these are some of the things that you could or should consider um, when doing product research. So the first one is the bestsellers rank. The bestsellers rank is helpful even if you're not selling on Amazon. So there's an asterisk there, like even if you're not selling on Amazon, you can actually go into your Amazon buying app, or you can just go to the Amazon.com page and take a look at the bestseller rank for um, the product that you're looking at. Remember that for Amazon, the lower the number, the faster the item is moving or the faster the item is selling. So the sales velocity is much faster if the number is lower. Knowing what the average numbers are per category and what you should be considering is another thing that you probably want to learn so that you have a better grip on what it is I should be looking at. So I'm going to give you an example. What the sales rank is for a product that's in books, that's selling and then showing up in the Amazon top 100 is completely different than what the sales rank might be for an item that's still in the Amazon top 100 in toys or in household goods. So in books, it might be the sales rank might be $1 million and it's still in the Amazon top 100. Amazon top 100 means that that product is still in the Amazon's top 100 for the category, meaning it's selling. So when you look at, you can do a Google search on Amazon top 100 to see what the top 100s are, and know that if you see 1 million in books, but then when you go over to toys or you go over to household goods, like household goods, the sales rank might be around 50,000, and then toys, for it to still show up in the top 100 in household goods of products that are selling on Amazon. Same thing with toys, like the sales rank might be in 40,000 and still be within the Amazon top 100. Now, we love it when the sales rank is like 5 or the sales rank is 500, or even when the sales rank is 5,000. We love that for any of the categories. That means that item is hot and it's really selling. But paying attention to the sales rank for a product, whether you sell on Amazon or not, Amazon is still a great platform to do product research. It is. You can get a lot of great information by Googling Amazon Top 100 or just by going to the buying page, going to not this your seller app, because if you're not a seller, you don't have a seller app, but going to where you just go shopping, scroll down and look for the sales rank. And if you see in parentheses top 100, you know this product is selling. Also look for related items, but we'll get to that. The next is the product rating. The product rating, if a product is doing well and its rating is above 4 or above, that's a good thing. You know, when you get down to 3s or 2s or even 1s, that's a little dicey, meaning people have given it reviews and the rating for the product on Amazon or on eBay. Look for the product on eBay, look for the product on Walmart. Every single one of the platforms has a 5-star rating. Okay. So since they all have 5-star ratings, just go see what's happening on those different platforms. Again, if you don't have a research tool, this is a great way to make sure that you are not missing important information on whether or not you could potentially be selling this product or should potentially be selling this product. If it's like, 4 on Amazon and 2 on Walmart, you might want to start reading those reviews. It could be the supplier or the seller has gotten some counterfeit stuff or some bad stuff. It could be biased reviews or it could be good information. Go see what it looks like on eBay. And then if you're able to find a supplier that's actually selling the product, meaning a wholesale supplier or distributor or whatever, go look at the rating there, especially if you go into Alibaba and AliExpress. Like you want a sales rank above 4. So I'm just saying. But look at the product rating. And don't just use one source for that. Check a couple of different sources for the product rating. Okay. and read the negative reviews. That might give you some insights into what's really happening. Eligibility. So depending on the platform that you're selling on, if you're selling on Amazon, you might not be approved to be able to sell that product. You may have to request approval. It may be gated for you. Gated, ungated, approved, not approved. So you want to make sure that you do what you need to be able to sell that product, to get approved to be able to sell that product. There are windows in life on when you're selling on Amazon. If you've been selling consistently and you've been consistently active, where Amazon will auto approve you to be able to sell different things in different categories. You just need to request approval, and then over time, Amazon, with consistency and with activity, Amazon may automatically approve you to be able to sell that product. And then there are other times where you're going to have to take action in order to get approved to be able to sell a product. So you just need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for the need to know whether or not you can or cannot sell the product. Now, there are times when you're selling on eBay, or you're selling on some other platform, where you do have to go through their approval process. It's not the same as Amazon. Amazon has one of the tougher approval processes, where some of the other platforms are much easier. Well, there's fewer products that you are limited to selling. Amazon has the most restrictions, the most limitations in place, and some of the other platforms have the least restrictions in place. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easier to get approval to be able to sell the products on those other platforms, but just know that there are platforms that have fewer restrictions. So just because you can't sell a specific name brand on Amazon doesn't mean you can't sell it on some of the other platforms, depending on which platforms you're selling on. So just check to see whether or not you have the ability to be able to sell that product, whether or not you're approved. And if you do need to get approval, what do you need to do to get approval? Okay. Or just request and see what happens. They can always just tell you no. Sales history. Again, if you have access to tools, you can see the sales history. And eBay, if you don't have access to tools, like you can go and look at sold for that particular product, and you can see what's happening. If you see a product and it's sold 5 times in a day on eBay, and it's consistently done that for over 7 days, then you know that item is selling like hotcakes. It's in demand, and it's good information. But if the product is selling like once every 3 months or every 6 months on eBay, because you have the ability to sort by sold, then you can see the sales history that way. And it may not be moving as much, may not be getting as much traction, may not be getting as many sales. So you can do that on eBay. For Amazon and for Walmart and some of the other platforms, there are different tools that can help you with sales history. Keepa is one of those. Data Spark is another one. Helium 10. You can go and look at the sales history and see what it was doing. Jungle Scout does some estimations, so you can see what is happening with this particular product, and when is it hot and when is it not, and what is it doing on the different platforms. How much is it selling? When is it the best time to list it? What is the price in which people are listing it for, so that you can make some decisions. So I refer to this all day, every day, as making data-driven decisions. Because everything prior to this, there's some data there and some helpful information, but this is the most data-driven decisions. And you won't have sales history on brand new stuff. Like, you will not have that yet. So brand new stuff, you won't have history, but you might be able to look at the history for something that is similar or related. So that may give you some insight. If this particular item is similar and related, there may be some level of correlation between the two. And that may give you some insight if you don't have that history. Do you have to have those tools to be able to know that information? No. You could use the bestseller rank information on Amazon. Again, one of the easiest and best tools to give you some insight on what's happening. Now, that's current information. That's not historical. So you'll know whether or not it's moving now. But if you pay attention to it and you've been monitoring, let's say you're focused on a niche, you're focused on a specific niche. If you've been paying attention and you've been monitoring it, then that information is helpful to you because you've been paying attention, you've been making notes. That means you've been collecting data on this particular thing. You've been checking to see when When did it get into the Amazon top 100? Okay, then now next week or the following week, okay, it's no longer the Amazon top 100. So the sales on this thing is fluctuating or they're getting cold. So you're making your own assessment. The other thing is, don't overlook the stuff that you're already selling, and go look at the sales history for some of the stuff you're already selling. Again, there's so many different ways to gain access to sales history if you don't have tools. I don't encourage people to buy tools until they are profitable. Once you are profitable and you want to use some tools to help you to make better data-driven decisions, definitely do so. But you need to make a little bit of money before you start blowing all your money on tools. Now, you can start off with tools, but you also need to be able to have some money to be able to buy potentially the volumes and quantities that are needed. So if you've got deep pockets, definitely do what you feel comfortable doing. If you don't have deep pockets, definitely learn a little bit about some of the platforms and invest a little bit more time. But you can get to the information that you need, and you need to pay attention to your own sales. That's information that will help you. And that's data-driven decisions. The next is looking at the competition. How many sellers are on this particular listing, or how many people are selling the same product? And in some cases, how many do they have? So some sellers, they may have bought a pallet of something. So they got 5,000 of it. And, on Amazon, there's a rotation of the buy box. There's also a rotation of the buy box that's something sent on Walmart. On eBay, it's all, whoever shows up in the search engine. So there's different ways in which you can do some analysis on what your competition may or may not be. But knowing the number of sellers, and you can decide whether or not it's worth jumping in, or whether or not you're going to have a different spin on it. Or, if it's a hot item, then all day, every day, I'm going to jump in. If I got it for a reasonable price, it's still hot, it's still going to be hot, I'm definitely going to do my best to sell it, regardless of the competition. We have so many stories of stuff that we have sold where it didn't matter. Like, this thing was selling like hotcakes off the shelves, and it was a wonderful time then. But it's not always like that. So paying attention to the number of sellers that are on a listing, or number of sellers that are selling the same thing, looking at their numbers. Again, that's part of the data-driven decisions. But again, if you don't have direct access to that information, you can pay attention to some specific things. And just do a search on the platform that you're selling on. Let's see how many people are selling the exact same thing or something that's very similar. Knowing or understanding the demand for the product within the next 4 to 16 weeks. So you could source something now, and the demand may be really hot for it in 16 weeks. So that's fine. That's great. Sometimes you're buying inventory that's way in advance, especially if you can get it for a deep discount. And getting it for a deep discount, buying it way in advance, is a good thing. If the demand is going to be hot, we'll use Father's Day is coming up. Back to school is coming up. Believe it or not, school's not even out, and back to school is going to be coming back up. And people are going to buy stuff. Why? Because kids never stop growing, and kids never stop needing stuff for school. Okay? So they're going to need stuff for school. Sourcing back to school now, which happens to be May, so that I can turn around and sell stuff in July, is not a stupid idea. But a lot of people don't look at it that way. So pay attention to what's coming up. What's in, I call it the path of buying. What's in the path of buying? What's coming up that people will need to be able to buy stuff? Will the demand be hot for this particular item? So sourcing something in September for Christmas, again, not a bad idea. That's still within that 4 to 16 week window. You could even expand that, to 20 weeks or 24 weeks if you wanted to. But it's sort of like future planning to some extent. So sourcing things in advance, if you got a really good deal, and listing that item, doing the product research, like, is this the next hot thing? When certain movies come out, people lose their minds. And so they go out and buy all the stuff for it or whatever. It's going to be a thing. I think this year, I think Barbie is going to be real interesting. I know that the movie is really for adults and not for little kids. I feel like it's for adults and not for little kids, but we're going to see. There may be pieces of it that's for little kids, but there's going to be, I think Barbie's going to have a spike in sales this year. I think The Little Mermaid's going to have a spike in sales. We definitely know the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to have a spike in sales. Spider-Man is going to have a spike in sales. Like, these are all things that are coming up. The demand is going to be interesting for those things. And so Spider-Man back to school is going to be a thing. Backpacks, lunch pails, notebooks, pencils, pens, pencil carriers, socks, shoes, jackets, phone case covers. Like, yeah, it's going to be a thing. So pay attention to whether or not it's going to be in demand in the next 4 to 16 weeks. Upcoming events, holiday seasons, and movies. Like, I literally could have merged these two together. But again, what are the upcoming events? Like, when does football season start? When does, baseball season? I think baseball season's already started. But holidays, like, what are the holidays that are coming up? Seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. Movies, like, I could go on and on. There's things that are coming up that are sort of cyclical, and people buy things for things. The whatever of the month. So during October, we know that that's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We know that August is Autism Awareness Month. Like, there's different things that are the month of something. And these are all important to different people. So depending on what it is that you're selling, you could be selling print on demand. These are things to think about. Future potential and future demand. So this is really, for me, when I'm doing product research, it's just all about the stuff that I come across that's on clearance. All of the stuff that's on clearance. So a bunch of the Mother's Day stuff is about to go on clearance. Will Mother's Day sell again in the next 9 to 18 months? Absolutely. People are going to be buying gifts. Anything that you can buy on clearance right now for Mother's Day will resell for Christmas. And after Christmas, it will resell for Valentine's Day. It's like a cycle. So you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. So what's the future potential and the future demand for this particular product? Father's Day. Anything that doesn't sell for Father's Day, when can it sell again? Christmas. Like, just think through it. Think through it. All of the school supply stuff. Yeah, getting stuff on clearance. So Easter, if I bought Easter on clearance, would I be able to sell it again in the next 12 months? The answer is yeah. There will be a spike in sales for Easter starting in February of next year. It will go February, March, April, and then stuff will be put on clearance. And so if there's a future demand or a future potential of this item selling like hotcakes based on the data-driven decisions, like go do the research. Yes. Yeah, it'll sell. Okay. I might acquire it. Now, some of the things that I mentioned, like if you're talking about Easter, you need to see what the expiration date is for some of that stuff, because you're not going to be able to sell it. I'm just telling you, because it'll be past the expiration date if it's food. But if it's not food, like, sell that stuff. Buy it on clearance. Buy it when you can get it for 25 cents and resell it. Okay. There's a lot of times that you can get stuff on clearance that is below wholesale. Trust me. The next is the availability of an item or the rarity of an item. So if it's a popular item and every wholesaler selling it, like, we know that Alibaba has it, and there's a whole bunch of different manufacturers, distributors on Alibaba selling the thing, and everybody's got it. Great. But if it's a rare thing and it's going to take a lot for you to be able to get it, or the demand is going to be there in the future, but it's not there right now, again, there's an opportunity there. So do some research, see what you can find out. Some things that are readily available, yeah, maybe you should sell them, maybe you shouldn't. Is there going to be a demand for it? And things that are extremely rare, again, sometimes the rarer things are, the more money you can demand for it, or you can request, you can list it for. But how difficult is it going to be for you to get it? How many hoops do you have to run through and go through to be able to sell this particular item? So knowing a product's either availability or rarity is going to be extremely important. And when you're doing your product research. Okay. Related items. So maybe you were able to find the item in blue, and the blue has been selling like hotcakes. and you did not know that there was also a white or a purple or a yellow that was available, because the listing there, it doesn't exist yet. So it's your opportunity to put it up. Or you didn't know that they had a larger size of it or a smaller size of it. Again, another opportunity. I can give you an example of that. Like the little Yodas, like you can get the Yoda stuffed animal, the little, well, plush, I guess. And then the Yoda doll, and they got it in different sizes. And then you've got the plush and it's different sizes. But Yoda was like, it's still hot, but it was a hot item and people wanted it. It didn't matter if it was a Yoda keychain or if it was a Yoda Christmas oh gosh, Christmas bulb, Christmas decoration, like for a tree or whatever, like to go on a tree. It was crazy. And so Yoda is hot. And you could get the same item just in different makes and models, or different colors, different sizes. So do that research on your product research. If you're finding that this thing is in demand, you're finding that there's a lot of competition, you're finding that the blue is available, but the pink is rare, or the white or yellow is rare, maybe there's an opportunity for you there, or in some other form versus a plush versus a Christmas bulb versus or Christmas decoration versus a physical figurine when I reference Yoda. So go think about related items. And then alternative items like replacements. We use an example of like different cameras. Cameras are a huge thing to be able to record and do podcasts now. People are buying cameras, and so cameras have lens covers and swap out lenses and different types of accessories that go with it. So maybe you're not going to sell the camera because you can't get approved. There's a process to get approved to be able to sell the cameras, or you don't want to sell something of that high value, but maybe the carrying case, maybe the lens replacement, maybe the this, maybe the that. Those may be things that you know that this is a hot item. You don't want to sell the item. Maybe you want to sell the related things. I can remember somebody that I know that they were selling the replacement straws to go in water bottles, these water bottles that had the different ounces of water on them, and people were selling the replacement straws to go in there. Again, big deal. Or they were selling the straw cleaners, another big deal. So again, it's an accessory to something that is already a hot item that is selling. So when you look at this item, think about what are the things that people need to either use this item, store this item, carry this item, handle this item, protect this item, or things that might break off from this item. Think about that. If it's a hot item, then try to sell the replacements and or the accessories. And then bundled opportunities. Again, when you're doing your product research, using those data-driven decisions, when you find something that you know is going to sell, think about selling it in multiples, multi-packs, or selling it with something else that is hot selling, something that other people are going to want to buy anyway, that's going to be in demand, that people are interested in. So look for the bundled opportunities in some of the products. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it to help you make better data-driven decisions when it comes to product research. Use these things to help you decide whether or not you should or should not sell this product after you've done a little bit of the product research on it.